Let's see. Tozan, who's here? Sorry I'm late, guys. Life. No wonder. Togoza. Who else is here? Ntabi Singh, Togoza. Lenzana, what you guys want here? Gwanele Togoza. No. Lipunani la. Hey, Ndobgaz. This ain't about you. What are you? Hi, Leo, Togoza. You see, Leo is welcome here. Ninamani Liagubi, Dewoho, where are you going? Sky Novalo, Movalo. I don't know, Sky. Are you and Ndobgazi? Are you and Ndovu? Are you a king? Who's here? Togoza Kokompala. Hey, there are some wrong people here. Zugiswa, what are you? Male or female? Angfun. Goofy Maziba, you look like a guy. Welcome. Hey, Ndobgazi, this is not your space today. What are you doing here? Hey, Tandi Zinto, you like things. Huh? Duchess, Togoza, Duchess, why are you here? Mpo, you guys, you like things. Linjalo, uti sinji. Lenzani la. We're here to discuss man to man. You're a man. I aveli tandindaba. Guys, Mara, no. You guys, you are going to make the kings go away because of your presence. Why you want to be everywhere? Pindile Togoza, Pilisiwe Togoza, Unati, Ndauwe Shewe, Vuyo, Togoza, women's. Standis vele ninjalo, ngiyalibona Isabel Togoza. I like Gwalisi like. Hey, guys, if there are guys, can the guys just give me some hearts or some likes or something so that I can gauge how many guys are actually here? I see only 2. Baba Alwa Togoza. Anyway, let's see how many people we get to, and then I'm going to start. Well, okay, here's what you can do, Ndobugas. You have brothers, you have nephews, you have uncles, you have grandfathers and fathers, you have significant others, be it a friend, be it a husband, whatever. Can you share this live to them then? Can you at least share the live to your male counterparts? They're gonna need to hear this because this is really important. And you, Ninel Elila, you may not like what I have to say today. I'm not your friend, Namhlanj. I'm advocating on behalf of Indlov. Good. Utu to say Duchess Uti, we're here to support the kings. Yes. Hopefully you will be supportive. And I don't want to see any snacks comments. Nyal blocker for this one. I'm serious because there are things I'm going to say you may not like to hear. Shoba unjani. I'll keep it at Shoba. Lumki, wise men. Ow, Togoza. Yes, my king. Afikile indlovu zifikile. Ziyabuya indlovu. Viki. Viki nyamaz. Tombazana. Alright, guys. So, Lee angazi ukuthi is a guy. Mazia angazi. Some of you guys don't have. Some of you guys are coming in here with ghost accounts. Ngiyanibona nje. Guys, don't be scared. Basabo baba ukuthi abasabo baba obaba bathi ngamadoda. Abayenzi lezi zinto esizenzayo thina lezi soft cuddly healing, and then I'm going to attack that today. Singena lapho namhlanje. Asithokozeni thokozani chamagwini lesedi lehanya thobela ndawo eshewe kwaziwayi kedu kilode jambo muribwanji ninjani thokozani guys, welcome. I was supposed to do this live yesterday actually, and I did something quite sneaky, which is that yesterday I changed the date to Sunday. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but yeah, I did it. And I didn't say anything because I had nothing to say. I was not ready. But today, I'm ready. We're all here. Spirit is here. So, indaba zizaphuma, and we're going to listen with open hearts. Like I said, please share this out to the males in your life. I think this live was literally an inspiration by Spirit, because generally I don't do lives for men. You guys know this, right? So now let us talk about this issue. And I want to look at it from the issues that we as women have talked about on our lives. And actually there was a guy who said, what about us? And that's what started the whole thing. What about us? And indeed, what about Indlov? What about the men? In this season of Heteru, where we are looking at Heteru as sort of the fertilizer, that powerful, magnificent energy of sex, sensuality, of creativity, of erotic energy, of family, of relationships. I couldn't talk to Indlovukazi without talking to Indlovu. So we're going to talk to the men today about certain things. But before we even talk about masculine and feminine, the divine masculine, the divine feminine, I really want us to talk about humanity. Umuntu nje, to be a person. So to be a person, no gender assigned. Just you are a human being first and foremost. I think it's important for us to start there, particularly if we're going to talk about a discussion of men, because for so many women in our collective subconscious, and when I say collective, I mean all of us, there is this thing called a collective subconscious, a collective psyche. We have narratives of men that literally make them not human. Do you understand what I mean? Because of the stuff that has happened over centuries and over years, perpetrated by men, many of us in our subconscious, which then forms a collective psyche, have this thing where we don't relate to men as human beings. We relate to you guys, men, as the creatures that hurt us, the creatures that are incompetent, the creatures that are egotistic, the creatures that cannot express themselves or their feelings, the creatures. So we don't see you as human first, meaning this othering of you as men, we see the symptoms of certain things that happen, and those are the symptoms by which we define you, but we don't go deep to see what has caused what we are seeing. Now, there's one I did, one of the lives I did, which talked about violence against women and children. And in that one, we were literally, again, deconstructing where does the violence come from? Were men always violent? And the answer, of course, was no. But then let's look at what's going on now, contemporary, with men, and try to sift out what is going on. Number one, imagine this scenario. And I know a lot of men here will attest. If what I say in the next few seconds is true, please give me some response. Take 2 5-year-olds, or take in a family. Take a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old. 8-year-old girl, 6-year-old boy, right? 2-year difference. The girl falls and hurts herself. what do? Oh, baby Ncese, we hug, we kiss the boo-boo, we rub the knee, and, you know, we allow this child and give this child space to express their hurt as a girl child, right? Okay, the 8-year-old falls. Same Fanana, hurts himself. What is the language that comes out of our mouth most times? Sukuma ndoda. Oh, sukuma ndoda. No. Don't cry. Boys don't cry. Men, no. Men don't cry. Qina ndoda. Qina, be strong. Probably doesn't get a hug. Probably doesn't get all the consolation, if you like, that the female child has had. There is a term, Gogo Nancy, thanks for reminding me, boys don't cry, right? So already at an early age, we have invalidated the feelings of the male over the female. And this child keeps hearing this time and again. He gets into a fight at school. The little girl gets, you know, consoled. Oh, mean people. The boy gets told, yeah, why didn't you fight back? Why didn't you hit him? You know? And he's made to feel shame for his feelings. And the thing we are forgetting there is that he's just a child. He's no more a child. He's no less a child than the female. But we start with those cultural distinctions so early on, and we teach boys that boys don't cry. We teach boys to suppress their emotions that are deemed as girly or female emotions. Musukwenza njengentombazana, man. How often do you hear men saying things like that, even when they are grown and they are trying to express their feelings? Boys don't cry. Men don't cry. Men have to be strong. What you're sending out is the message that they must suppress and repress their feelings. One thing I've said often, and you may remember, is that any feeling or emotion you repress will find an outlet somewhere. Right? So now you have these kids, this 8-year-old, 5-year-old, they're growing, they grow older within the family. Boom! 13 years old for the boy. Testosterone starts pumping into the bloodstream. Puberty hits. Testosterone is the male hormone that is responsible for most violence that we see in men. Testosterone is the hormone that really distinguishes men and women, boys and girls. When they mature, when they are young, there's no distinction. They are children. Please put that into your head. Stop calling 11-year-olds, 8, 9-year-old boys men. Stop making these little guys suppress their emotions. Men, you are responsible for doing that to your sons, mothers to a lesser extent, but men, you are doing this. Now testosterone sets in. All those repressed emotions have to find expression. So then what happens? Violence. Violence at school, violence wherever they can, violence if they catch a little cat, they start skinning it and they think it's hilarious to kill an animal. Anytime a child kills an animal in cold blood and finds it funny, you really have a problem, because that's the creation of a cycle. And we see it all over. Go around the streets, see what kids do to animals that are weak that they catch, especially boys. The fact that they can take pleasure in harming or maiming something that is helpless, you see a problem right there. Because that will extend to the female. Why? Because the female is seen as weak and helpless. So what we do when we make our children, our boy children, suppress emotions is that we are causing a disconnect from compassion. Once somebody is disconnected from compassion and does not know what compassion feels like, listen, you can't give what you've never received. They're not going to be able to give anybody compassion because they never received compassion as children. And majority of black men are walking around like zombies because they are disconnected from compassion. They never received it, so how would they know what it is? All they've known to do is any feeling that seems weak or effeminate or might feminize them, or God forbid that someone calls them a woman. I say God forbid because a lot of men don't like to think of themselves as being remotely anything like women. Why? Because women are seen as weak. Somebody told them women are very weak creatures. Women are silly, they're emotional. And you know what? Go into a discussion with men online, see what they'll tell you. I get this a lot. I'm not even emotional. I write something, someone will say, you are being so emotional. And I'm like, actually, I'm not. I'm not being emotional. I'm just telling you things. Because they know that to be called emotional for them is like a racial slur. It's like tugile if you call a man emotional. So then he uses that same psychology on me who says, no, actually, I'm not. I'm just expressing myself. Do you see where this is going? Inkinga zethu, our problems with men are going to end when we allow men to cry. So, my daughter, you are getting permission from Kulu today to please express your feelings. That's maybe hard for many of you. If you're in your 30s and 40s and you've always had that exterior hardness that says, I'm a man and I'm strong, it's going to take a minute to reconnect with those feelings again. And for you guys, I would recommend, you see, and this is what happens, you see, because anything that associated with the feminine is considered weak. Say to a guy, do a deep meditation. No, tell a guy to go and seek help in therapy. Therapy. Because somehow, to admit to pain, to admit to needing help, is a sign of weakness where men are concerned. Why maraninja? Why lijwal? Because it's not. It's actually a sign of great strength when you can admit that you are hurting, when you can admit that you have a problem and go and seek help. The weakness is in not admitting, when you let your ego get in the way of you getting the help that you need. That is the weakness. And believe it or not, that is actually the thing that puts most Indlovukazi off. You think you are being esteering by, being all testosterone filled and I'm a man. Meanwhile, your partner is looking at you with contempt because your partner sees that you are a fool who won't seek help for a problem that is obviously there. Now stay with me here. I'm not attacking you because, again, I need to be careful how I tread here because I'm funkumisa anything. I need you guys to stay with an open heart so you can hear me and understand that this literally comes from a place of love. If black women and black men don't get it together, we can forget it. The only thing that's going to get us out of the mess we're in is when we heal and can reconnect. And that healing may probably need to be separate before we can connect. I hope what I'm saying is making some sort of sense. So it starts there in childhood. You get to the teenage years, the repression has been going on for so long. You have a violent teenager who's angry inside, who's resentful inside. And actually his resentment is resentment of his sister, i.e. the divine feminine, because she got all the love that she needed to thrive where he didn't. Therein starts the misogyny, the dislike of women. So in the absence of mom and dad, his sister falls and cries, he will mock her and say, hey, look, you're weak. as a way to validate the fact that he was never given the attention he needed. So he's not going to give her that attention. How many Nandlovu are in relationships with women who require or ask certain things of you, and you just won't give it, even if you know what it is that's wanted or required, but you withhold it? You know why you do that? Because you're empty and broken inside. And it's your way of getting back at the females who hurt you when you were younger. See, now you are wounded and you are bleeding on those who had nothing to do with your wounding. Do you see that? The roots of misogyny, which is the hatred of women, Zindlovu, my kings, comes from that place where somewhere in your life there are women who hurt you. And if we track back, it's usually umama or ubaba. No, nti umama. Ubaba, forget for now. That's a totally different story. Why am I dealing with the divine feminine in terms of hurt? Because that is the deepest wound for men. You didn't defend him. Yeah, Ma didn't defend you when your dad was beating you. Ma didn't step in when you needed a shoulder to cry on because you were being told that you have to be strong. Ma didn't step in. Ma seemed to show favoritism to your sister. You see, that's the thing. It looks like favoritism because when you're young, you're a child and you don't understand why me, I don't get the hugs. I get told to cleaner and this one gets all the hugs. In a child's mind, put yourself in the mind of a 5-year-old human. Don't gender it. And they're seeing that. As far as they're concerned, their perception, that's favoritism. In the meantime, you think you're making him strong. For what? Strong for what? Because there's too much of a burden, this burden of strength that's put on the masculine. And it's breaking their backs. If I'm lying, men, say so. Tell me I don't know what I'm talking about, and I will gladly defer. Because from that time onwards, teenage years going up, there is this burden of responsibility of being strong. Here's another example. Father dies in a home. There is a 12, 13-year-old boy. What is the common language that this boy will hear from there on in after his father's gone? You are now the man of the house. Ha! Such a burden on a 12, 13-year-old. He doesn't understand even then that it's a burden. It's overwhelming. But hey, guy, ego boost, right? You're messing children up by doing those kind of things. Worse still, oh mama, you start to depend on him as though he is the father of the house. You turn him into protector. Hey, go make sure there's someone. Listen, he's a kid. The dogs are barking outside, but you send him to look. Why? He's a child. You, ma, should be getting up and checking. He's a kid. Like the girls in the house are kids. Nizan. And so even when they are scared, even when they are terrified, you won't let them admit to it. So in every situation, as they grow up, they have to be staring. Sometimes it will get them killed. Instead of just walking away from a situation, no. The narrative runs that he has to be strong. He has to be brave. Meanwhile, the person you're facing has a gun or a knife. He puts that in your belly. You're finished. All for what? The reason I talk about these simple examples, I think they're easy to relate to. And they're easy to kind of raise awareness of what I'm trying to talk about. Where are the Indlovus? How many Indlovus do I have here? If you're in love, put your hand up. Let me see. How many? Mangaki la. Because otherwise, now kulma namakhosikazi so kumbhora manje. Right? So now you have these young adults who are roaming the streets full of pain and anger. Actually, the anger is a symptom of the pain that is so deep. A lot of pain. Because already the misogyny is set in. Women, and remember, this is the funny thing about in-love. They will adore their mother. But at the same time, outside, they will mistreat indlovukazi like nothing else. Strange. I'll tell you why. Because actually, the anger and the hurt that's directed at mother, you can't go there. There's a part in them that knows ukuthi ngeke ngicross leyo line. So iphumela kuphi? Phandle. On the other women, the fact that they can't see a sister or their mother in another woman shows you ukuthi kunenkinga, there's a huge problem. The anger that they feel and resentment and the abuse, they really want to direct it at their mother. But because mother is a no-go area, they won't allow themselves. It's gonna get vented outside. Beware of the men who come around you who say, I adore my mother. My mother is God. Ah! Run. Beware of the man who doesn't have anything negative to say about their mother. Not in disrespect, but as a way of showing, you know, look, my growing up wasn't perfect. That one who takes mother and puts her on a pedestal. Nisenkingeni bafazi. Because now he has this unrealistic standard that he's put up there of what a woman should be. Unrealistic because his mother is as human as you are, has made her own mistakes. But because she's mother and he can't go there, he puts her on this pedestal against which you are measured. You don't stand a chance. Ow! Love, now I'm going to end up talking to my sisters if you don't show yourselves. Nikona, are you here? Because really this is about you. And I need you to hear some of this stuff, although it's painful. So I didn't say disrespect your mother, okay? I didn't say go cursing your mother. Kings, no, you can't do that. But what I did say is you have to face that you have some hurt that your mother has caused you. You do this to heal you so that you are a whole human being that can interact with the divine feminine in a healthy way. Otherwise, you won't be able to do that. That's why there are so many broken marriages. And the sad fact of the matter is it's indlovu eziwounded meeting indlovukazi eziwounded. Boom. The thing finished before you even start. Right? Now, here's another thing I'm going to put. This whole issue, this pressure you are put on to provide, the provider, chelete, ikai chelete. You open the door to your significant other's home. Before you're even greeted, your foot's in the door, the complaints come. Ribata this, we need this, and we need that thing, and we need this, and then my hair, I need my Brazilian 50K, I need my... You haven't even sat down. Your body is halfway through the door. How does that feel for you guys? You see, this construct where men have been put as the providers is actually very toxic to men. It's very toxic because many men's identity, their whole identity as a man, umunna, is around their ability to provide or not. And it's a shame. Because kahle kahle, your identity is your God self. Your identity is who you are as a human being, over and above the things you are able to do. Your identity is not your degrees. Most men identify with externals. They don't identify with their God self. So now imagine the job is gone, right? Imagine you were working for a degree and you identified yourself as an electric engineer, a software developer, a doctor so-and-so in philosophy, or a doctor of medicine. You're identifying yourself with those things. If they were taken away, what is left? An individual with a very low self-esteem and self-worth. And what does that do? It cripples you. So, we need to redefine for indlovu where their worth lies. But if we are constantly, if we are constantly, oh my God, the only time Indlovu will get praise is if he gets a promotion, he has another business going, is this. How about to just be proud because he is? How about to just be proud because he's a decent human being who is honorable, who cares for his family, and who is compassionate? We don't value those things in Indlovu. Why? Society reinforces that external identity which can crumble any day, and it will leave a man on the ground. And Tina Indlovukazi, we don't help that situation because now upansi, ayisilapho. What kind of a man are you? Eh? You can't even provide for your own family. Hey, I'm the one who gets up and goes to work every day. And you just sit here at home. Hey. He's already down. You don't have to kick him in the gut. But siyayenza lento le. Siyayenza because of societal programming. And we need to be conscious. We need to become conscious of how our words, how our actions are affecting the other. So, Ndlovu, I have a question for you. Now that we've set up this scenario wherein by you don't really love, like genuinely love women, because there's a lot of resentment and anger that prevents you from making that connection. Do you know what else is happening to you? You know what else? What else is happening is you are a dual being spiritually. You are composed of the divine masculine and you are composed of the divine feminine. So now that you really, really don't like women, do you understand that there is a part of yourselves that you're not connecting with? Do you understand that there is a part of yourself that you're not integrating into your whole being? You see, the thing about duality, it exists in nature. It exists in the cosmos, as above, so below. That's why we have unomkhubulwane, we have umvelingane. The two are always working together to create that balance. Now, within us is that representation, as above, so below, as within, so without. So each one has duality within us, and our work on this planet as humans is to resolve that duality so that within ourselves we become one. Now, if you are at war with the divine feminine outside, Indlovukazi, and your mindset is all these negative characteristics and this resentment, how are you going to resolve within you that duality? Because it starts there. If for you being female or feminine is weak, is manipulative, like you've got all this scenario in your head about what it is. Uzoyiresolve kuwe kanjani le inside? How do you close together that gap between the divine masculine and the divine feminine? How do you close that gap and integrate your duality so that you can become one? That's a big one. See, until that happens, until that inner work happens, you cannot say you love women and genuinely know what that means. You can't. So you are at war with yourself. On top of everything else that's going on, you are literally at war with yourself. So when you brutalize women and you beat women, keep that in mind. Hey, as limaz, you're hurting yourself because you're causing a bigger and bigger rift between the divine masculine in you, the divine feminine in you. It's like you're cursing yourself. I really have to put it that way. Because for a lot of people who have abused women, nothing will ever go right in their life. And remember, we all come from women. We all come from women. Nani love, you come from women. I think I've said this before. I wish I had the picture, and maybe I'll do another live explaining the biology behind all this. But I think I've said it before that, why was I talking about the 5-year-old and saying they're just human? Because even if you look at the embryo, it's 6 weeks. If you look at the development of a baby, boy or girl, they all start out the same. They all start out female. So female, being female is constitutive. At some point in development, in kick in the hormones that will lead down the path of masculinity based on the composition XY chromosome. And in women, based on the X chromosome composition, you will become a woman. But conception and up to 6 weeks, we are all exactly the same. So maybe the lesson today really was for Indlovu, yes, but I'm glad that Indlovukazi listened in, because kahle you all have sons. Yeah? You've got boy children, you've got nephews growing up, be conscious of these things, because literally you are molding these humans into the men of the future. And if we're trying to break these cycles, we got to break it somehow, somewhere. You know? And for Indlovu, I have something for you. Another reason why you have all this anger is because on some deep psychic level, you guys all feel, quote unquote, impotent. What do I mean by that? I don't mean the impotence of the bedroom. Hi, boo. No. I'm talking about a sense of helplessness and powerlessness that colonization has rigged men with. African men prided themselves as protectors of their families. Makes sense that you would be protectors of your families because you are the ones with brute strength, most. You're the ones with the strength. So yes, if push came to shove and you needed to go out and fight for your family physically, you guys would do it. You would put the women and children back there and you're the ones who would take it to the war. You would take it outside, right? So it makes sense biologically. So now here's the problem. The problem is colonization emasculated your grandfathers, your great-grandfathers, your great-great-great-grandfathers, your fathers, your uncles, and your males in the, right? They were emasculated. Think about what's going on in your DNA with all that. So you've inherited that sense of helplessness, and now we find ourselves in these new dispensations that are distorted, that distort you as men. And that is amplified, pressed down and shaken over, amplified again. That's what it is. Here's a hint. The next time, love, you all meet together as men, Do us a favor. You really want the respect of Indlovukazi? Let's go back to the way things were. Labona belungu, they are full up in our land. When you get together, stop faffing around and talking nonsense. Start discussing ama strategy ukuthi funi ikhali lihambe ngale liyethatha umhlaba wethu. Bring land back for us. You will see things. Indlovukazi will kiss your feet. So you can restore your dignity as Indlovu, as amakhosi, what do you call these, inkosana, by getting engaged in the things that matter. The respect you want at home, we're dying to give it. We just don't know who to give it to right now. We're dying to give it. Go and get our land. I'm funa ukukhuluma ngesilungu because they will shut me down, and if they shut me down, that's the end of me, so I don't want to say. What is that Malema song? Ibhunu Italian. It's shaken. Yeah, nobody must translate this. But what I'm saying is, the real people who emasculated you and caused you to be in this nervous condition you are in, umlungu, the kneeless ones, not us, not your children, not your brothers. Ni business operation Dudula. Going to Dula umlungu. Why are you chasing your brothers left, right, and center? Bizamagama engelamsebenzi xenophobia. Hey, foreigners. Hey. An African is now a foreigner in Africa, but umlungu is not. Lingamagwala, lingamavaga. Fix that one. I'm telling you, if you fix that one, hey, amakayazo futumala, the homes are going to get shushu and warm. Nangizutintin and love. Yes, challenge. If you need me to organize you, if you need me to come and organize you, I will come. Say organize. Night battalion number 1. Amban, front lines. Yeah. That's where the source of this feeling of inadequacy comes from. Your collective feeling of inadequacy is the state of Africa. And now you want to go around in Jane, Danasa. Show us that muscle as you go towards KwaZulu. China are now full. Did you see? Since that weird inauguration, they were praying at some field with our king over there with a priest. The pictures are weird, but anyway. I'm just saying, stuff is happening under your noses. And you're busy feeling inadequate. Fix it. And you won't feel inadequate, I promise you. Get engaged in the things that really matter, and you will start to feel like umuna. You will, I promise you. And Indlovukazi will start seeing you as umuna. Okay? Otherwise, cold kitchen, cold bedroom, cold everything will be your portion. On top of that, fix it. Tela intelezi gogo. Mbani ufuna intelezi? Ufuna intelezi yani? Intelezi yahlukana. Ufuna intelezi yani? Intelezi yokuyodudula abelungu. Hayi siyayilungisa leyo. Kodwa qala kumele lenze okupractical. Musani ukulwisa abafowenu. Amanyama Africa. Stop fighting your fellow brothers, especially over there in South Africa. In fact, everyone, the African continent, where you're busy calling other Africans foreigners. Stop it. Stop it. Because they're not your enemy. Your enemy are the fake republics and the people who are upholding these fake republics all over the continent. Plus umlungu. Dudulana umlungu. Hey, dudulana umlungu. Ay, ngiyanikeza sibili umuthi. Ngiyanikeza ukuthi leshaya lapha. Ngiyageza mina self. That's why I said if you need me, I will organize you. Intel is a strong guy. Yeah. Thumela umbane first. Thumela uvuta. Shisa yonke into lapha ngoba imizi abasifuni. We don't want their homes. We don't want to inherit their toxic low vibration. So we'll start from scratch. Sifuna umhlaba. Yeah. Thuma uvuta. Thumela ezulu lapha kushe yonke into. Bennett. Naselingena. Warriors. You get inside. Ayaqedisa nje. Finish the job. Then come home to Joburg, to wherever, and say, nkosikazi, ndlovukazi yam, ngutholela umhlaba wakho lapha, umhlaba wethu. Yay! You will see flames. Manohleka impilo. So, guys, the system introduced tribalism so that our men don't become one and fight each other. Exactly. See, you've identified. You guys, you see the issue. Reprimand one another when you see people falling out of line. You know this thing of tribalism, ne? It can be stopped yesterday. Don't be in groups of men or other men and entertain the kind of talk that is destructive. Kuzananini. The minute one of your brothers steps out of line and starts, this way, if that's where you are going with your language, I'm leaving, I'm going home. Actually, you are disgusting me. Bond as men around positive things. Bond as men around building each other. When your brother comes and he's in tears because he's heartbroken, don't make fun of him. For once in your lives, when you are by yourselves, okay, we are not there to look, in case you think we will laugh at you or whatever. There are no Ndlovukazi around. You are by yourself as men. Stop reinforcing BS. Pat him on the back, give him a listening ear. He will heal. Man, be a man. You are pora manje. You are now. Like, you shut him down when he really needs someone to listen to. He won't go to his wife because God forbid that he show that he is weak. So he comes to you. You guys bond around BS nje. Phuza utshwala nje. Khuluma mbedo. Bond around positive things. I'm telling you, if you want a list of positive things to bond around, I can give you. But on top of it, dudulana umlungu. Dudulani, the kneeless ones, we want land back. For real. That's a real issue. Number 2, stop killing your brothers. Because who you should be killing, the kneeless ones. Your brothers are not the people who put you in the condition you are in, wherever you are in the world. The kneeless ones did. Hambanda dudula lapho. Dudule lapho. Eish. I wish there was a grand prize for that one. Joe, I keep a mini grand prize. Because that's really where it's at. Tell us you work on the kneeless. Yes, you see, that's the problem. Most of you think you should ask 1 or 2 of my clients. I think I saw Jocelyn here. I saw 7 sumut. Awa. And you are 7 zagash. I don't know, where did you get this? That imithi to work best on abelungu because there are only 6 ether beings, very weak. Ba weak ngendlela esimanga. But you see, it's a psychological thing. You are scared of them. It's a deep psychological thing, and they did that on purpose. How many times do you walk to a ShopRite or somewhere and you see umlungu abusing a cashier? And you in love. Instead of standing up for your sister, you look aside like you're not hearing. You start to look at the chocolates, at the chewing gum. Instead of stepping in and saying, hey, when I slam. Who do you think you're talking to like this? Or if you see a situation where someone is standing up to umlung, why do you all run away or pretend you don't know the situation? That is your time to jump in. But you don't do it. But anifuni respect. That sister behind the cashier that you didn't support, what do you think her idea of men are after that? Ubonile wen. And she looked at you with eyes that said, help me. And you ignored her. You have just made problems for your brother who she's seeing or was thinking of seeing. You've amplified those problems 50 times over. Labona nithandani madoda, it does. Cebisana nini, speak to one another on the things that are important. Help each other to grow. And help each other to heal. Somebody comes talking negative things about his partner or his wife. Give them a listening ear, but at some point say, no, man. Have you spoken to her about this? Well, how is she supposed to know this is a problem if you haven't spoken to her? You know what? I'm just going to find someone else. Well, Rolling Stone gathers no moss. Keep finding another person. Because let me tell you something. There's no perfect human being on this planet. And then when you get to 50, 60, 70 years old, you are now a lonely old man with children scattered. You sowed your wild seeds all over. Your kids don't even want to know you because they have no respect for you. And now you are sitting somewhere by yourself with no one to take care of you. Do you know how many TikToks I see of elderly people who are roaming around, either in some kuku somewhere, and they rely on the kindness of strangers to feed them. And by Kulumuguti, I have children. Yeah, I think one is in Cape Town, and then the other one is in Venda. Yeah, I left 3 kids in Gauteng with their mother. Now you're an old man, a decrepit old man, and you're sitting there waiting for someone to buy you a drink, waiting for someone to think of you and come and feed you. Thank God we have Ubuntu, so people will feed you. If it was out here in America where I am, you would starve. People would walk over you while you're sitting there by your mkuku waiting to be fed. Why you want to die a lonely old man? Because izenzo. Kuzanini, build each other to do the right thing. And life will be really, really sweet for you. Contrary to popular belief, Indlovukazi are actually great nurturers. But you might never know that in your lifetime, you see, if you let your ego get in the way. Really, you might not. And we need each other. Indlovu, we really need each other. We need to mend these things. I know I was laughing a lot and joking, but you guys know I'm serious. We need to fix ourselves. We need to fix our stuff. Honestly. We need both sides to be carrying ourselves with dignity and a deep self-knowledge. Resolve that inner conflict, that duality that causes you to feel so disoriented. Both men and women, but more likely men. And if you showed up for your partners in love, as you should, women would not have to start adopting masculine qualities just to survive in this world. We don't want to be that way. I'm telling you, take it from me. We don't want to be on guard. We don't want to be protector, provider, giver. We don't. It's tiring. It's exhausting. We need you guys. But we need you guys whole. Don't believe the sister who's like, I can do it all by myself. She's doing what you guys do when you say, I'm a strong man, I'm a what? She's operating from the ego. But I'm telling you, in the silence of her room, when her head hits that pillow, she knows the truth. So let's heal together. Let's have these conversations. They're not easy, but let's have them. Ne? So that we can become better people. We can become better Africans so that we can save ourselves for the sake of our children. Because at the end of the day, that's what it boils down to. What legacy are we leaving these kids? Ne? I think I've said enough. This conversation can go on forever. But please, mfuna nje ukuzwa from Indlovu in the comment section after I'm going to check my comments. If you found this of value, I want you Indlovu kuphela. Hayi Ndlovukazi, hey, ningaphaphi. I know you people. I said Indlovu. I want you to just comment a 1. I'm going to tally up the ones and I want to see who found this valuable. Because if you did, then this might pave a way for an Indlovu workshop. Not necessarily run totally by myself, because I think that to balance things, I would have to enlist Indlovu so that we do this work. So, all by a show of number 1, if you found this useful. Asithokozeni. Thokozani. Guys, have a great week ahead. We'll see each other in the streets on here. But thank you so much for giving me your time. And Thokozani, we'll talk sometime soon. Bye, guys. Love you all.